What's up and welcome back to Kinda Funny Games Daily for March 20th, 2024. Of course, I am Tim Geddes, and today is very special. One of the very rare, if not the first, Kinda Funny Games Daily with not 2 people, but 3 people. And they are very, very, very special people. Of course, we have returning to Kinda Funny Games Daily from Natural 6, Ben Starr.
Hello.
Woo! How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me. I'm very, very jet lagged. I think I told you I've had about 7 hours of sleep in the last 3 days.
Of course, GDC's going on. That's why you're over here.
Yeah, and then I'm flying to PAX tomorrow, so I'm a busy boy.
You are a busy boy. Of course. That's, letting the fame get to your head. Globe trotting. You're just out here making it all happen.
Yeah, I really want to be a monster by the end of this. I really want to kind of be a husk of who I was. I want my authenticity to have died. And
Gotta accept the truth.
Kind of a bitter. Yeah, exactly. Press L3 and R3 to accept the truth that I'm not a very nice person.
Oh, man. What a fantastic intro. But moving right along, making his debut, but I'm sure it won't be his last time on this show. He is the creative director of Surgent Studios. He is also, a.k.a., an actor for things like Assassin's Creed Origins, a.k.a. an actor from House of the Dragon Season 2, a.k.a. an actor in Raised by Wolves.
I am the father, the daddy.
There you go. The creative director here going on for Tales of Kenzera, Zhao.
Yeah.
Abu Bakar Salim. How are you doing, my
friend?
friend?
Man. This is crazy. It's cool to be here, man. So thank you so much for having me. And it's great. I mean, I did not want to do a section with Ben, but you know what? You got to make it work.
I didn't give you a choice.
Yeah, you didn't at all. So, but here we are. I'm very happy to be here, man. Thank you very much.
I'm so happy to have you. Yesterday, I got to meet you for the first time, really briefly. This is the first time we're really going to hang out and talk.
Yeah.
But I got to see you in your element, and we had a moment, everybody, because we got to yesterday. We were down at GDC. It was the Nintendo little game showcase that they always do for GDC. Always a great time, showing off a whole bunch of great games. But I'm looking around, meeting cool people, seeing people that I haven't seen for a long time, which is good vibes all around. And I just see you giving a demo for your game. And I don't think I've ever seen somebody more excited and proud to talk about a project.
Yeah.
And you were just beaming, man.
Yeah, man, because you got to be, man. This is like, I'm so happy, like the idea of making a game. As I said, like I've always played games in my life. So like the idea of now making one and being able to share that, it's a blessing, like truly. And I think like that's one of those things where, especially the kind of content that we're making and the story that we're trying to tell as well, like it means a lot. And to be able to share that with people is, it's as I always say, it's terrifying, but also really exciting. So yeah, it was something else, man. Something else. Also seeing other people play it is, it's really revealing.
Yeah, y'all
really
worked this hard to get there to this moment, man. Like, what was that like? Like being able to actually sit next to people and talk to them as they're playing this game for potentially the first time.
Yeah, it's beautiful because again, it's this thing that we've been working on this game for 4 years. So, all the way behind the scenes, and we get a feel of it and we get an idea of it, but you never really know how it's going to hit or land when people are. Because you don't share it with other people, right? So now we're suddenly sharing it with people, and that's my boy.
There it is.
That's my boy. But yeah, now being able to share it with people and actually having them feel like playing it and giving their feedback on it, and actually just experiencing this world that we've built and created. It's really beautiful, man. And like this is a passion project. This is an art, right? And it's really truly an idea of being like games are art, right? And we want to share and express, and this is what we're building and what we're creating. And I'm hoping that this kind of opens the opportunity of being able to show it to not only like more people, but also creating other cool games and do other cool collaborations. It's something that is going to give us the access to that. So yeah, I can't wait for people to get hands on, man.
I cannot wait to play through this game. When is it coming out?
April 23rd. April 23rd of this year. It's soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah. What systems?
Every system, man.
No excuses, everybody.
Man.
April 23rd.
Yeah.
Get hyped.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
Ben, jumping over to you for a second.
Yes.
Natural 6. You want to talk about that for a quick sec?
Yeah. We are starting an actual play D&D, Natural 6, with a load of really, really cool people. In fact, Abu's a little bit a part of it.
Ooh.
I am.
We have this incredible mechanic in it where we've got loads of really cool people from across the video game and D&D world to contribute characters in some capacity to our actual play, which launches in April. There they are. This is from this was like our early access Kickstarter. We now have taken all the funds that people gave us and we've turned it into something a little bit more high quality because we can, and we have like minis that we play with, and we've filmed 4 episodes. We will be releasing it in in April at some point, in which we will announce it. And yeah, it's very, very, very cool. It's me, it's Doug Cockle, Geralt of Rivia. So if you want to see Clive and Geralt of Rivia play some D&D together, that's what it's going to be.
That is incredibly cool, incredibly special. Everybody get hyped. What a day to celebrate video games. We're going to do just that in some way. Some good news, some bad news, some breaking news, because we're about to live react to Amy Hennig's new game. The trailer just dropped, and I'm very excited about that because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through all of the nerdy news that you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with the Kinda Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free. You can watch us record them live, and you get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube super chats as we go. A little housekeeping for you. This Saturday, it's PAX. We're moving straight from GDC to PAX East. We're sending Mike and Blessing over there to have a whole bunch of fun. This Saturday, Blessing's hosting the Code, Sweat, and Cheers, How We Made Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty panel at PAX East alongside CD Projekt Red. You can join him in the PAX East Main Theater on March 23rd at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you can't attend in person, you can watch the live stream on PAX East's official Twitch channel. And also, SnowBikeMike is hosting the Grounded PAX East panel alongside Obsidian. This is going down at 2:30 Eastern Time in the Albatross Theater. You can watch online at the PAX 2 Twitch channel. And a new episode of Kinda Funny Gamescast is up right now. It's our Dragon's Dogma impressions. You can get that on YouTube and all of the normal places. We're also doing a Game Showdown panel at PAX. You can check out Blessing's Twitter for more information there. Ben, you're going to PAX East as well. So much things to promote and talk about. What can you talk about now?
I can talk about two things, actually. One is I'm doing a panel with Warframe because I am playing a very cool character called Arthur Excalibur in Warframe 1999. Rebecca Ford has kind of decided that she wants to put the full force of her genius behind this expansion, and it's very, very sexy. And they asked me to play this character, so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be revealing some cool stuff at that panel. And then actually, tomorrow, I think, I've been very fortunate to present the Future Game Show Spring Showcase with Samantha Bayard, Karlak from Baldur's Gate 3, which will be airing on, I think it's like 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, and 8 p.m. GMT. And it's going to be streaming on Twitch, but also showing in the theaters at PAX.
Very cool.
So it shows like loads of trailers. And when they asked me to present it, I said, yeah, I'll do that if you let me be a little bit weird with it. So
no way.
Yeah, I might regret it. It might be kind of like professional suicide, but it was really fun. They were really kind and let me be a bit silly. And Sam they're incredible. And it was really fun to have Karlak and Clive presenting a very unhinged Future Game Show Spring Showcase. I don't think they've had actors like us want to do what we did on that show. So look forward to a little bit of chaos.
I love that so much.
Great.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Kieran Hovasapian, and Delaney Twining. Today, we're brought to you by Shady Rays and Robinhood, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We got 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
We have fun here, okay?
This is, wow, man. I was not expecting that.
Oh, just wait for Wii News,
Production
everybody.
values, bro. Wow.
Story number 1, like I said, it is breaking. The Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra trailer is out. Epic State of Unreal keynote opened with a surprise, a first look at 1943 Rise of Hydra, the new Marvel game from writer and director Amy Hennig, best known for her work on the Uncharted franchise. It features an ensemble of playable characters, including Captain America and Black Panther, and is described as a narrative-driven action-adventure game. Here's how Marvel describes the setup. As the game's narrative unfolds, players will assume the role of 4 central characters: a young Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, Azuri, T'Challa's grandfather, and World War II-era Black Panther, Gabriel Jones, a U.S. soldier and member of the Howling Commandos, and Nonali, a Wakandan spy embedded in occupied Paris. You boys ready to watch this trailer?
I'm so ready.
You have no
I'm so
idea.
ready.
Like, this is
Pull it up,
it, man.
They're combing the streets, searching house to house.
If they arrest you two, they will take you to their headquarters, and you will not return.
I'm more concerned with the 6-foot cat man who's got claws that can cut through vibranium alloy. By my count, that makes 2 super soldiers loose in Paris.
They're saying this is all in
Counting
engine.
you.
And that's 2 too many.
I'll be there before the sun rises. Before the Germans, before that American. The Eye of Force has been found.
Black Panther with the cape?
I know.
Please, just stick to the rooftops. Be careful, stand me.
When am I not?
All right, this is awesome.
It's better if I tackle this one alone.
You may encounter some obstacles.
That won't be a problem. Our cat friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
The American boy is right on your heels.
Who the hell are you?
If you wanted us dead, we'd be dead. So what do you want?
Answers.
That's far enough!
Stay out of my way!
Stand aside!
I do not take orders from anyone!
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
Yes. Wow. Hell yeah.
Whoa.
Bro.
Whoa.
This is, nah, man.
Go off of it.
This is-
What'd you think of that?
This is insane. That is beautiful. You know, goosebumps. Goosebumps. Like, genuinely, you watch this and you're just like, look, Amy just doesn't miss. Amy doesn't miss, man.
Here's the
Oh,
thing.
my Lord.
We've been talking about this game for a while now of like, is it really coming out? Are we ever going to really get this? And it didn't feel that likely at certain points. But here we are, 2025. And anything can happen. But yeah, this being in engine and showing it off at Epic
I mean, it's
State of
beautiful.
Unreal.
Look at it.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
for sure.
Look at the detail. Like, it's amazing. It's incredible. I'm genuinely pumped for this. I can't wait.
I think it's a really cool hype trailer, and obviously from a story perspective, it really paints the world. And you go, God, this is a world that I want to be in. Obviously, it's a video game, so how does it play?
Yes.
I look at it, and I was like looking at Black Panther's movements and thinking, okay, so like, how are we going to have different fighting styles? Obviously, we're gonna be using that shield. I think you have a problem with Marvel properties in general because of just how famous the MCU is, but I think they've done a brilliant job. I don't think there isn't kind of like any uncanny valley to that. I totally believe this world. And I don't know who the actors are. I'm sure there are people in chat who will be able to know who they are, but it looks terrifyingly realistic.
Yes, that's the thing, right?
And like you're right, Amy doesn't miss. Like when it comes to narrative and understanding of like what audiences want and how to entertain audiences, Amy Hennig is first in class. And this is a statement.
I do agree though. There is something about it. The fact that like I am now thinking, how am I going to play this?
Yeah.
You know, that's always something I remember. Like whenever I used to see trailers for games, I'm always like, this is great, but where's the gameplay?
Yeah.
You know, I know story will hit. I know that would be great, but it's like, give me that gameplay. Give me that gameplay. I want to see how it's going to work. So, and maybe they have it up their sleeve. Maybe that's part of their, the whole marketing campaign. But I am very much of like, I'm hyped and it looks beautiful. It's crazy. I can't wait to get into it. But give me that gameplay. I want to see how I'm going to play this. How am I going to touch it? How am I going to, how am I going to interact with it? So I agree, bro. I agree.
It's like it's funny, isn't it? When you do game reveals, I really remember God of War 2018 when that was first revealed, and we saw a version of gameplay.
Yep.
When we go, okay, this is an approximation of what it's going to be like on the sticks, and that's kind of all I really care about with video games. I want to know how they're going to feel in my hands because that's what I'm going to be doing for most of the time that I play them. We know that this story is going to be great. I love that they've chosen two protagonists that have different fighting styles. That's cool. I want to see how that works, but I want to also know how that feels. And they've nailed it. They haven't made me not want to see this game.
For sure. I think my thing is it being at the State of Unreal keynote, that really is, they're talking about the graphics, right? They are just really trying to showcase, like, look how damn good Unreal Engine 5 can look and what this can be. So I'm totally with you. I want to see what the gameplay is, but I'm just excited because I wouldn't, especially at this point, I wouldn't just expect that, oh, the story's going to be good. Like when you look at a lot of some of the Marvel stuff, it doesn't always hit like with how much is out there at this point. I like that it's a totally different timeline or time period, totally different setting. Yeah. It is funny that we're getting 2 Paris Marvel games in the next couple of years with this and Blade, but that's awesome. Yeah, like there was another clip that was shown. Jeff Keighley was sharing. This just looks incredible. Like it looks so realistic. But Amy Hennig having the pedigree that she has, seeing this trailer, I'm like, oh man, I am incredibly excited for this, and I can fill in the gaps of what I expect the gameplay to be. And 2025, not that far off. So I imagine we will be seeing more of this. Maybe at D23 or something like that. So.
This is definitely going to be an end of 2025 game. But it's cool because I think there's a level of uncertainty about what 2024 is going to bring, and it's a real statement of intent going, don't worry gamers, games are coming. And actually 2025 is just around the corner. And we're going to see that hype cycle start to build up, and at least we know this is maybe what we thought the future of video games was going to be when PlayStation 5 came out. This sort of fidelity. I really don't think we've seen the kind of jump that maybe some people expected between PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 because of the nature of how that was released and cross-platform releases. And you see this and you go, that is harnessing the power of Unreal 5.
And totally. And what does that mean though? And this is a bigger conversation, but like already we're seeing games like the focus of this next gen that is now just current gen. It's like, all right, it's not 60 frames per second. Like there's no way that game is going to be higher than 30 frames per second unless it's like running in some type of performance mode, which at that point, is this engine going to solve a lot of those issues and still look incredible? Is the PS5 Pro and then whatever the Xbox thing, is that their solution here? Yeah. But like, I cannot believe how good that looks, like to the point that I literally can't believe it. Like, we'll see when it actually happens.
Optimized for that moment, you know, like, gonna see how that actually hopefully travels, because we've all been disappointed, man. Like it's happened several times, so let's just see. I think you're right. We've got to wait and see.
And my biggest thing is, I got excited seeing that little clip of the Star Wars game that we saw years ago from Amy Hennig over there. So this, I do think, has now that we have this, a better chance at becoming a reality, but the team's still an unproven entity out there, right? So it's like we don't know too much of what's going on there. But
a lot of Amy's most recent output has been hindered by whatever company they were working for's obsession with not wanting to have trusted narrative games. And I think we've seen that there is this hankering and a desire to see genuine cinematic masterpieces come out. And she has proven herself to be a pioneer in that, like for years and years and years and years. So yeah, I'm well up for it.
Yeah. The next up, story number 2, Dragon's Dogma 2 review roundup. Right now it is sitting at a 87 Metacritic and an 89 OpenCritic. I'm going to read a little bit from Jared Green at IGN, who gave it an 8 out of 10. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a strange and wonderful game that seems haunted by some of yesteryear's bugaboos. It's a retelling of re-implementations of all of those wonderful ideas from the 2012 cult classic, including an awesome dynamic world and some of the best combat in the genre that integrates a subtle but amazingly complex physics system. On the other hand, its finicky ally AI, clunky climbing, and choppy frame rate, and camera with a habit of going haywire at the worst times are all features I wish hadn't been brought back for another round. Even so, there's an action RPG here that's richly rewarding and incomparable to its contemporaries if you can be patient with its quirks and open to embracing its hand-off open world and quest design. Then Lewis Parker over at Eurogamer gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Damn. I do think a lot of what Dragon's Dogma 2 does scratches an itch for me, and that some of the things I love about it are specific to me. But the longer I've played it, the less I've worried about my own bias towards it. Even if I hadn't played the first Dragon's Dogma, I can tell you with complete certainty that I'd have come to the same conclusion I have now, and I'd have given Dragon's Dogma 2 the same score I have now, simply because no other game in recent memory has inspired the same feeling of captivation and wonder in me. The joy of discovery lies within all of us, and Dragon's Dogma 2 succeeds in evoking a magical feeling in a way no other game has before it. Those are big words there.
Big, long words.
And then Richard Wakeling at GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10, saying Dragon's Dogma 2 is an excellent sequel that builds upon the first game's core concepts to create a thrilling open world adventure. Like I said, our Kinda Funny Gamescast, just impressions of Dragon's Dogma 2 are up, where Bless, who's played a little over 5 hours, Mike and Greg a little over 1 hour each, give their thoughts on this, so you can go check that out. But are y'all excited for Dragon's Dogma 2?
Yeah, I am. I mean, like, it's funny. I I don't think I think I might have played the first one. I can't remember. It was one of those games where it sort of slipped my radar, I feel. And then, seeing more and more, kind of cool stuff of, again, I think it's the gameplay, seeing how beautiful the gameplay is, how beautiful some of the, the VFX is. Like, it looks beautiful and incredible and fun and kinetic. And again, to kind of capture that, and now having also, running a studio and knowing what it takes to make something really cool, especially in this day and age where there are games being released left, right, and center. Like, this looks insane and incredible. Like, it just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very pumped to be playing this, and I can't wait to actually get hands-on this to really feel it, because this is definitely my vibe.
Yeah.
Ben, you a Dragon's Dogma guy?
I never played the original, but I've always been fascinated by the discourse around it. It's almost like a game that's defined by its unique idiosyncrasies, where it's like it's a 7. It's famously a 7. It's famously a 7. It's the 7 that people love like an 11. It's got this ardent fan base, and I really like that. There's almost like a Dragon's Dogma revisionism happening right now, where we're reassessing that game in kind of with modern sensibilities with the games that have come out. And I'm really glad that it's getting great scores. I think that the people who don't like it for the same reasons that people didn't like the original. It's uncompromising in its vision, and that's why people are gonna love this as their favorite game of not maybe just the year, but maybe all time.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be people who are going to fall off it, and that's great. And I love to see games that are uncompromising in their vision, and they're not appealing to everyone, and then it kind of being kind of a malaise of things that we know before. It's going, we're going to do this. We're going to make some bold swings. Half of them aren't going to come off, and some of them are. And when they hit, you're going to have one of the most meaningful experiences, or you're not. And that's okay, because there are 10, 15 other games out right now that are going to take 100 hours of your time.
And I do think, not to spoil the conversation we had on Gamescast too much, but I do think that part right there is a lot of like why even Blessing was feeling the way that he is about the game, which again is not negative at all. It's just he's not at like this level of captivated by it. But he was even saying once the reviews come out, if they're like, yo, it gets that special, I'm going to stick with it. And it sounds like they kind of nailed that here. Like to your point, Ben, like the sequel coming out here close to a 90 Metacritic. Yeah. Like that means that it is hitting for the people that are looking for that type of experience. And yeah, that uncompromising vision for the game. Like it sounds like they achieved the goal, which is incredibly impressive, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, I also wouldn't look too hard at the Metacritic. I know people want to do that, but like the people reviewing games are reviewing games with their own individual experience. They're reviewers who've probably played multiple RPGs this year. There is a grind when it comes to reviewing games. I think assess it if you like what this sounds. If someone, even an 8 out of 10, you can read an 8 out of 10 review and go, well, these things I really do like, and I don't care about the things that this person says I don't like. So I think this is going to be one of these games that's going to mature over time, and it's going to be like, I think it's going to be in the conversation for Game of the Year for a lot of people by the end of the year, just because of how much I think it's going to resonate with the people that it really, really resonates with. And you're going to get that kind of crazy emergent gameplay based on your choices. I mean, how many streams have we seen of people just in the character creator? It's a genius move. We're going to get so many, there's going to be so much online content about it. It's going to generate so many conversations. And I think that the conversation just outside of the game, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Twitch, is going to keep this game alive for a lot of people.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right there. And hey, congrats to everybody that's been excited about this game. It sounds like it is going to deliver everything you want and more. But moving on to story number 3, Ubisoft shows off AI-powered NPCs at GDC. This comes from Christopher Dring at gamesindustry.biz. Ubisoft has shown 3 behind-the-scenes demos at GDC this week on the potential of AI when it comes to building NPCs. Dubbed Neo NPCs, Ubisoft's efforts involve combining AI responses with narrative backstories and prompts designed to avoid making the NPCs appear soulless. The project is a R&D initiative led by Ubisoft Paris alongside its production technology department. There were 3 experiments in total, and all of them using voice commands. The first challenged players to build a relationship with an NPC called Bloom. The gamer has been hired to join a resistance group. Bloom is your buddy, and you're encouraged to build a rapport with him. He'll respond to your questions and also react depending on whether you're angry, sad, boastful, anxious, and so on. I'm editorializing a little bit here. It sounds a lot like Hey You Pikachu on the Nintendo 64. Do you remember that game? Yeah. You got the microphone, the N64 controller. It was a disaster. Disaster game. You're encouraged to try and explore his backstory, learn about other characters, and find out information about the Resistance. Ask the right question, and it'll trigger scripted information relevant to the game. The objective of the demo is to, quote, enhance narrative immersion, Ubisoft says. And building the relationship would allow the player to level up their relationship meter, which would unlock more behaviors. The second experiment also featured Bloom watching a stealth mission with a drone. Here, Bloom will react to what's going on while also responding to questions and input from the players. Bloom will respond to events, and if there's a critical moment in the gameplay, he will prioritize reacting to that over any in-game conversation. He's aware of the status of the mission and his surroundings. The final experiment was around planning a stealth mission with an NPC called Iron. In this experiment, Iron has suggested approach to the mission in terms of how to break into a building, how to subdue a guard, and how to take out the cameras. Players are then encouraged to challenge the approach, and Iron will respond on whether that is something that could work. The director of this project said, quote, it could be the start of a fantastic paradigm shift. For the first time, the game world actually listens and dynamically responds to the players. Social interactions and skills become part of the gameplay. Smarter NPCs, like our Neo NPCs, have the potential to become a breakthrough addition to the traditional NPCs we see in games today. They provide the ability to create even more immersive worlds and emergent stories. Ben, I want to start with you.
Yeah, do you?
Oh, man.
Do you?
Please.
What do you want me to say?
Well, I want you to say whatever you want to say.
AI has been a part of video games for a really long time. Like, it's what bots do. It's just a part of the tools that have been around. I think AI has become, quite rightly, a dirty term for a lot of people. They find it to be quite poisonous because of what it can predict. I think gaming companies need to figure out a way. I think our relationship with AI says more to do with our relationship with games companies as opposed to our relationship with AI. I think what people are worried about are corporations taking the power of AI and using it to line their own pockets as opposed to utilizing it in a way that helps developers make games. Now, I think there are examples here in which Ubisoft are going, we can help our developers make games with this AI, and it will be useful, as AI has been used many, many times. Procedural generation is AI. But I think there is a fear, there is a general distrust of larger companies that are going to use it to, at the same time when we're talking about layoffs, when we're talking about jobs, we fear for those sorts of things. And I think whatever this is about, people are going to forget the details of this. They're going to use this as a vector to speak about their own concerns within the industry. And as a performer, I don't like it, but I'm sure that there are lots of people who do and will find it useful, and those considerations are also very, very valid. But I personally think it's such a tricky thing to talk about because we don't know where it's going to be. That's my take.
Abu?
Yeah, it's funny. I think I have to speak. Okay, right. I'm gonna put my game dev, Surgent Studios CEO cap on. I'm very much in agreement. I think AI has helped video games evolve and helped people evolve and created tools for, developers to evolve their experiences for people and create something really immersive and powerful and potent. I do, however, see that you cannot replace talent. You can't replace human beings. So in my eyes, I don't necessarily see it as a threat because ultimately, there are, depending on how companies use it, it's all about how you use it, I guess. And, it can be used to aid you, but it isn't the be all and end all. Mm-hmm. As an actor, yeah, it does terrify me. It does make me think, oh, wow, you're going to replace me. But at the same time, like, you're not, again, there's something missing from it that, an actor, a human being can speak from and pull from that connects to another human being on a deeper level that I don't think necessarily AI can ever do. Yeah, okay, sure. This is exciting and enticing and whatever, but it doesn't impress me. It doesn't make me think like, okay, how's this going to make my experience better? It's like in my head, the first thing I thought of was like, why don't you just get a writer to write the words that are going to happen and design a system around that, rather than necessarily getting me, Iron to tell me like, oh, this is how you take out a guard. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's like, there's something interesting there. So I think like, there is this fear. I do think that there is this fear, and we've got to find a middle ground. But between the idea of AI usage, especially when it comes to games, I think it needs to be seen as a tool rather than necessarily as like the result and the be all and end all of creating something. Because at the end of the day, we're here to make games for people to enjoy and play,
Yeah.
right? And it's got to serve that purpose. So if you're going to create something that's, you know, a quicker way of delivering an element of like, oh yeah, this is just an easy way to create more NPCs just for the sake of it. It's like, as a gamer, I know that. So why are you trying to cheat me of the money that I'm giving you? Like, you're going to, put $70 on a game because you got 101, like, you know, NPC AIs? Like, come on, man. Like, give me 5 and I'll work on that. So anyway, it's one of those ones where I'm like, again, I understand like a lot of execs and CEOs and companies are like, no, but it's the future and it's the way, it's a tool of doing it. But I'm like, come on, please, man. Like, it's a tool. Like, use it as a tool.
Yeah, and I do think that the reason this is number 2 on your list is because it's Ubisoft, and they have a messaging problem at the moment.
Yep.
So
That's what it is.
It is.
For sure.
It's not. There's this AI-powered NPC thing. It's Ubisoft, and we go, ugh, and maybe it is their fault. I think they have a problem with the people at the top and the way that they're able to message that, and they've made a lot of blunders over the past however long. And I respect and love a lot of people who work at Ubisoft, and you know we all have history with people. But I think that there has been, and I don't know how you change that. But this isn't certainly something that changes that, because it's a dangerous and terrifying thing for performers. I also think that as an actor who works in video games, there are a lot of people who ask me all the time, how do I get into video games? And most people will get into video games by starting by being NPCs, voicing NPCs, doing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And there is this fear that, well, what we'll do is we'll get rid of the smaller characters so we can focus on the talent, or we can focus on filling this world with other things. But in doing so, you're literally stopping a pipeline of talent getting to a point where you are going to experience new talent. You're literally shutting it off at the tap. And of course, the people who are making this don't think about that because that's not their concern. But that is something that will happen if you do that, and you don't give people the opportunity to learn their craft, cut their teeth on it. If you take those opportunities away. Now, if that is happening now, we don't know, but there is a genuine, and there are discussions happening right now with SAG. Like that is a concern. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I think your point about where Ubisoft is at in particular of like the messaging is very apt, because this being a GDC like presentation, right? That makes sense. GDC is about showing off tech. It is about having these conversations, and they've been doing that for years. Ubisoft and many others, like even thinking back to like the Kinect with Xbox, and like where they had Milo, where it was like pushing AI and showing that, and even dating back further, like what made Halo so special, like besides the couch co-op and the multiplayer matches and everything, it was the AI, the way that they would talk about like how smart the AI was and how it reacted to the player and all that stuff. That was although a place in time where AI didn't also have the fears that like exist now. And with the stories going on, this just seems like a very tone-deaf time to make this announcement and present it the way they did. Like if you see their actual the article that Ubisoft posted on their blog that is getting shared on social media, there's just like the one like the hero picture that they have, like the big thumbnail of it. It's like just dialogue of this character talking, and you read it and you're just like, this is not the best foot forward. Like, I don't know how they could have thought that was a good idea to put that out to represent this is a good plan.
Yeah, but this is what I mean by sometimes I feel like it isn't for us, which is again, like I do want transparency, absolutely, to know what's going on, but I also feel like it's almost speaking to, no, I don't want to be that guy who's like, you know, conspiracy theory saying it's for the shareholders and the money, because that's not what I'm trying to say here. But I think that tone deaf nature element comes down to the fact that it's the wrong time to talk about it, and it's the wrong time to kind of share it. And if you're going to share it, message it properly, or message it in a way that feels that we can all kind of resonate and connect with it, you know. But I just feel like it's not, it doesn't speak to me. All it does is it isolates me. Especially as an actor, I'm like and especially as an actor, as a creative, as an artist, what you're telling me is like, oh, okay, you're here to replace me.
Yeah,
you know
and the writers too, and like literally all the creative elements of it.
This is it, and it's like, and as I said, don't get me wrong, like I'm sure it's going to push and help in its own way and shape and form, but I don't know, man. There's just it's a tricky subject, because as I say, like there is power and potential of helping a lot of developers out there, or a lot of people out there in furthering their kind of the worlds and the spaces that they want to build, because they don't have the money to be able to do it. That's the beauty of, like, you look at something like Unreal. Like Unreal is an engine that allows you to anyone could be a game maker, right? But at the same time, you're like, come on, like what? Why are you?
Hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It
really
is
tricky,
like
you know?
when you showed us this and you were like, you guys want to talk about this, and we were like, absolutely, we want to talk about it. But I think everything that we are saying is potentially speculation, or some people would even say fear mongering, but it's a genuine fear.
Yep.
It's a real fear because it feels so immediate. And I noticed when I was filling out my GDC pass, they list the things that you're involved in, and AI was one of the boxes that you tick, and it was one of the top ones, obviously alphabetically. Because there are people who fundamentally believe in the power of that, and it's not leaving this industry. It's one of the boxes that you tick at GDC. It's what people wear on their badge. They're not scared to talk about it because they're proud of the work that they're doing. So as much as we can say we are fearful of it in the wrong hands and what it can do for particularly our livelihoods, because that's the most immediate thing that we are aware of, there are people out there who are going to continue working on it and are going to want to show their work and are going to want us to go, that looks really good. And it does, but at what cost?
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out. I saw I was driving to work today on the side of a Muni bus. There was a big thing that was like, San Francisco runs on AI. Like this city is the future. And I was like, I am terrified by that. I cannot believe that is that's outside of games and stuff like that. And that was like an official city thing they're putting out there. I'm like, all right, we'll see how this goes. But we're going to get to more stories after a real quick word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses brand that has over 300,000 five-star reviews. They're on a mission to match affordability with durability, making top-quality shades accessible to everyone. They have tons of styles and colors to pick from, so finding the perfect polarized shades is a breeze. Their tangle-free collection is perfect for all hair types and is their hottest-selling style. These shades have specifically designed nose pieces with long hair in mind for ultra comfort, so you'll never have a snag in your hair. Here at Kinda Funny, we all love wearing our Shady Rays. Whether it's Tim looking dope in his Pokemon Go walks, SnowBikeMike rocking the snow goggles, or me just looking fantastic in my tangle-free shades. If your shades go MIA or take a hit, don't sweat it. They've got lost and broken protection, so you're covered from day one. And if you don't love your shades, exchange or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses.
This episode's brought to you by Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer. And we're back. I want to get to some of the YouTube super chats that have been coming in. We got Cognitive Clips saying 0 out of 10. Didn't see Clive once in this trailer for 1943.
Sorry, yeah. He was in it. He was at the back. He's got to look.
Opponents Prime says, are Final Fantasy voice actors allowed to double dip on the franchise in a main cast capacity? Maybe not lead, but do you think Ben could voice a party member in a different game?
So I don't know about me personally, but I know that Ray Chase has voiced many, many characters in Final Fantasy. So yeah,
that's true.
I think that's very possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I like the one and doneness of Clive. I like that being a thing. I've enjoyed my time. I think he's a cool character. And I don't think I'd want to come back in any other character. I'd feel like I'm cheating on him.
And then
dirty.
Guitar Hero Arrow says, finally Platinum 16 in the week before Rebirth's launch. Ben, thank you for Clive. Praying to Metzia for any excuse to return to Valisthea. 16 too, please.
Well, if there's a panel at PAX which Yoshi P is doing, and they're going to be revealing lots of fun stuff about the DLC, and it's
Leviathan
cool.
action,
It's
baby.
cool. Yeah,
very, very excited for that. Let's move on to story number 4, something I'm not so excited about. IGN management lays off 3 union members in massive breach of trust. This comes from Justin Carter at Game Developer. A trio of IGN workers were abruptly laid off earlier this month. Producer Francesca Rivera, video producer Jesse Gill, and senior editor Joshua Yale, who I worked with for a very, very, very long time, very closely, and I cannot believe this is happening. He was there 10 years. Were all members of the game's website recently formed IGN Creators Guild. The union alleges that on March 7th, management cut those 3 positions without any clear reason to do so. The site is, quote, in no economic distress, and these reductions were made without prior consultation. Management reportedly claimed these layoffs were already set in stone prior to the union's recognition. Even so, the Guild argued this was a massive breach of trust between union employees and management. To say I'm devastated after being laid off from my dream job at IGN after 10 years is an understatement, wrote Yale. After a decade of pouring my heart and soul into my work, it's all over in a surprise company reorg. Rivera added that she was heartbroken by this decision, but even more so, I'm disappointed by the way it's been handled. Had just shy of 5 years on, nothing but positive reviews, said Gill. The union presented a list of other options to no avail. The union accused management of legal acrobatics, noting that IGN has 7 open positions the 3 could have easily been slotted into. Even beyond that, there were plenty of other options leadership could have used. The layoff was a choice, not a need, it stated. The experience of our impacted members is expertise we can't afford to lose, and a huge blow to the teams who relied on them across departments. The Creators Guild called on the community to insist that IGN management sit down with them in good faith bargaining. At the same time, it filed unfair labor practice charges and is hoping to give Rivera, Gill, and Yale severance. I just want to jump off with this one, where obviously this is horrible, so unfortunate, and I feel like hot off the heels of the amazing win that the IGN Creators Guild got of getting IGN to voluntarily accept the terms, to have this happen weeks after that, at the very least feels like a bad faith interpretation of the agreement. And at worst, I feel like it's sinister, and there's like more going on here, and it just seems like not a good first step in the relationship between this union and IGN, and it's very unfortunate, and I think that it's great that they're handling it the way that they are, and the best luck to them to get some type of positive solution to this.
Yeah, I think it's just it's one of those ones where you think, where am I safe? And I think it really this is like textbook of the idea of like, yeah, okay, you can do your thing, but actually it doesn't matter. We can still do whatever we want because we're a big company. We can do whatever we need, and it's tricky. It's not actually, it's not even tricky. It's bullshit. Personally, I think there needs to be some form of respect for people. I mean, a company is a company of people. It's a company isn't just this machine. It's people. That's what it is. That's what a company is. It's about people, and it's funny. Like, one of the things that really drove me to even just start my own studio was the fact that it was like I want to be able to try and make a change in those kind of regards, because at the end of the day, it's the people who are running the ship. It isn't this entity, right? And so seeing this kind of stuff, it just fuels me more and more to just be like, right, screw it. I'm just going to do my own thing and make it fair for people, because you can't get away with this kind of stuff, man. You really can't. Yeah, it's horrible.
What a fumble, IGN. They've Obi-Wanned this. If you strike me down, I will come back more powerful. They've proven the point of why this was needed, and I think that I was so pleased to see this union emerge, and I love to see the support, and I think that the work that IGN does, it's very important that they did it first, because I think this is I think unions in this industry are needed.
I mean, they weren't first, right? They're one of many at this point, but I do think that they were the biggest.
No, but I mean, with regards to they obviously weren't, but the idea of them making that statement and being like a very large outlet, journalistic outlet, to make that statement, is such a big, loud, echoing moment in the industry, and then for this to happen so soon afterwards is just proven why they needed it. They needed it in the first place. It's a shame. I do want to say this regards to the layoffs. I think this is a really difficult thing. I listen to this show every single day, And it's amazing how the numbers get more and more and more and more. And so we've almost dehumanized the individuals because they become of a number. They become 800, 1,000, 500, 3. It's just like more and more you add to the pile. And in doing so, relatively, the idea of these human beings being laid off becomes numerically less significant, but it isn't, because these are people's livelihoods. You know, you're saying you've worked with people
Joshua,
here.
yeah.
It's crazy. And it's very easy for us to go, oh, this is awful, because we haven't been affected by it. And it's very easy to listen to this story again. I'm sure you'll do it tomorrow. More people will be laid off.
Yeah.
And this is why unions are needed. And this is why I really hope that some good comes from this. I really hope that the management are embarrassed by the way they've conducted this publicly. And I don't think they need me to say that. I think they'll be seen very clearly how embarrassed they'll be by it, because it's just not a good look.
Absolutely.
And it's the antithesis of, I think, what they wanted to project. So go on, IGN Union.
Yeah.
It's funny though, you do see this whole thing of like, it's constantly happening, and it is dehumanizing. It's like, it's just numbers now, it's counters, and it's depressing, because it's again, as you say, it's livelihoods, man. It's like, it's actual people's lives here, and it's bizarre. It's really bizarre, because again, and even then, it's like they're in, as you say, like they're not in any sort of financial trouble. So like, why then? You know?
I've also just seen someone in the chat, I think it's TML Dan, say that unions won't stop layoffs. That's not true. What you need are protections. So what you have right now is people can just be disposed of, and they can be disposed of without any compensation, without anything, any safeties that come with that. No, it probably won't stop layoffs, but it will mean that people are less disposable because of collective bargaining. It's very, very, unions are so much more important than people think they are, because it protects the workers. It makes companies think twice before just disposing of them. And the idea of contractual work in this industry is so prevalent, because that's the way we expand, and then we contract mercilessly. You've done your job, thank you. Here's all your medical, bye, go, gone. You know, you moved out here to do this work. Sorry, you've got to go. It's not okay. And so if you have a group of people who are there to support you and to stand up for your rights, because you are not just one person, you are now 500, that is so much more powerful. So yeah, it is that. And they might not immediately stop them, but it will help people and protect people in that.
And Reb said as much when we had Rebecca Valentine on the show announcing the IGN Creators Guild. She explained that layoffs are going to be inevitable, especially in this day and age in our industry. But the whole point of a union, when that does happen, is for management to be able to go to the union and maybe talk things out, maybe find a different path that isn't a layoff, or if there has to be, let's figure out how to still take care of those people when they are laid off. And that is very much needed in America, especially where the labor laws are not as protective for workers as they are in like a UK or other countries, where you see PlayStation get laid off and like laying people off, and those US employees are let go immediately. But then UK employees get like 2 months, maybe a little bit less, I forget. But yeah, especially in the US where things are grim right now, and not to discount where everything else is happening outside of the US, but yeah, where the labor laws are really messed up, man. Like 100%. Unions are the one stopgap workers have against the capitalistic structure that is destroying our country.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Also, this country was built on unions. Like, this country was built on the power of people coming together to create something great. It's what most of the great stuff in this country and a lot of other countries was built on, the power of unions, and like that idea of like, what is the American dream? The American dream is millions of people coming together and creating something truly great. Like, so why would you not believe in that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I know, God, it just sucks to say this for the 100th time, but it's like no one is safe. Like we're talking about like the number one games media company, IGN. We're talking about PlayStation. We're talking about like literally, you do not get bigger in the verticals that they are in, and it's just, it is so sad to see these things continue to happen for restructuring.
But it's because it's a numbers game, man. It's a lot of this stuff is, again, this is what I mean by like, it's all about messaging, and it's all about the people who are in charge. They are not thinking about people. They are thinking about the numbers. They're thinking about that sheet. And it's like, and it's so blatantly obvious now. It's offensive. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just not, it's disrespectful. So I think, Yeah, no, the feeling of no one being safe is very true, and it's a shame because everyone has a point where they'll crack.
Yeah,
and I think like we're getting to a point now where I feel like it's starting to get really tense and people are getting really pissed off.
I mean, Greg Miller keeps talking about his time at DICE and how talking to everybody, like how it felt, and it was like not great.
Yeah.
Like,
Man.
that's an understatement. It was bad. Me just being at GDC yesterday, walking around, there was so much excitement from people to see each other and had like even earlier we were talking about how great like moments were, but there was also this like air of like, so how you doing? Like this, and it's not fair to people, and it's like it's a level of stress that everybody is under that we don't need. There doesn't need to, on top of how hard it is to actually do these jobs, there shouldn't be this constant fear of to what end. You work this hard for this long, and what is your reward? Like Joshua, who's worked at IGN for 10 years, who built so much of the entertainment division of what IGN is, taking it beyond just video games, but into comic books, specifically in movies and all of that. And it's like, it's just very scary.
No respect, man. It's just no respect. I think that's the thing. Like, it just feels like there's no respect. Yeah. All
right. Well, moving on to story number 5. The Callisto Protocol gets a roguelike spinoff. This comes from Liv Nyan at Eurogamer. The Callisto Protocol developer Striking Distance Studios has announced a spin-off to its sci-fi horror game in the works. Currently codenamed Project Birdseye, the game is a fast-action roguelike experience set within the same universe as the Callisto Protocol, which you would not know just looking at the footage.
I remember this when I played Callisto. Yeah, all of that blue paint everywhere.
Specifically, it's set in the Black Iron Prison, where players will be tasked with fighting their way out of the prison through levels filled with biophage monsters. It looks much brighter than the Callisto Protocol, thanks to colors other than gray or black and the comic book art style. Project Birdseye is still in development, Striking Distance said in its reveal trailer. This is not the Callisto Protocol 2, the studio reiterated, but a way to expand the world of the Callisto Protocol and stretch our creative muscles on something a bit different without impacting development on our next AAA game. Striking Distance has not revealed any details on its next big budget game yet. Cool?
Yeah, I mean, for those who can't see this, who are listening on audio platforms, it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely great. It looks really, really fun. It looks fast. It looks frenetic. To describe the color palette, it's like the difference between Rage and Rage 2.
Yes.
Where you went from, and I'm the guy who was a glutton for punishment and platinum the Callisto Protocol, so I had to play through that game on hard mode as well to get there. I'd play this. It looks cool.
Yeah,
it looks cool. And clearly they had to downsize after the game didn't meet the sales that it wanted to, and they went, well, how do we create something in this universe, in this IP that we have, and we create something that we want to work on?
Yeah,
looks good.
I've been saying this a lot on the show. I've been talking to Bless about it and Greg about it, but like I want to support teams like Striking Distance. These teams that are they split off from the big dogs, like people that worked on Dead Space. We're going to go out and do our thing. We're going to take our swing and do a big AAA project without necessarily all of the means to do it. And that's a scary proposition, and it doesn't always work out. And in the case of this, it didn't really work out. So I'm happy that they're able to, from a sales perspective and critically as well. But I'm happy they're able to look at that and be like, we're going to stretch our creative muscles on something a bit different without impacting development on our next AAA game. I'm so happy they're not giving up on that. Like I feel like being able to be creative and do something that hopefully will be able to sustain and make the success that it needs to be able to keep this team going, and also be able to have them work on bigger projects. And I keep saying this, but reform what AAA means. Like we need these smaller teams to make games that are not 30 plus hours, man.
The man right here. He's speaking to the right man,
Look, I think it's always good to, to know your limitations and actually you as well set your own boundaries as to what you want to be. I think it's about, again, I've always said this, games are art, they're art forms. They're there to have fun, they're there to enjoy, and if you're going to enjoy making it, it's going to exude as well somewhere else. Don't try and chase the zeitgeist. Don't try and be something different. Try, or for the sake of being different, just be honest. And I think like there is something about even just watching the trailer of it all, there is an honesty there, and there's something really cool and unique and new. Well, it's not even like it just feels fresh in that regard of like, okay, it's not the Callisto Protocol I know, but actually I much prefer this than I do to it makes sense with this. It feels a lot more fun with this, and I think like that's what's cool, and that's the beauty of of game development when you really lean into it and accept the fact that it is an art form rather than necessarily just a way of trying, as you say, like trying to hit that AAA mark. It's like, come on, man, I'm bored of it. Like, give me something cool and interesting and fun and unique, you know?
Yeah. And also, like, I'm really pleased because I really thought Striking Distance were done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
Glenn goes off into the sunset on his silver horse that we all know Glenn has. And I was thinking, well, what's the future of this studio? You know, and they started having that roadmap of like some DLC stuff, and you know, the U-turn is fascinating because if you think about like what that game was about, you had Josh Duhamel looking exactly like Josh Duhamel. It was about cinematic fidelity. It was and then this is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this is more appealing, and it kind of looks like people. I mean, again, I played a lot of Callisto Protocol. It sounds like people really love this. This looks like a game that people put a lot of love into it. It doesn't look cynical. It looks fun.
Yeah, and that's what matters, right? And I think you can tell that through the way they've chopped it up and played it up. It just looks fun, and whatever comes through it is going to be so much more. Again, it just speaks to the heart of a gamer and speaks to the heart of someone who's. I mean, like, look at it. It's so different to the like it. If again, yes, it's sci-fi, but how many trailers have you seen of sci-fi where you're just like, oh, it's just the same but different?
Yeah.
This actually feels it's cool, you know. And
Yeah.
even if I'm going to say it's like a sci-fi Hades, it's like dope. Let me play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It looks like a sci-fi
Great, let me
Hades.
play it. And I think like that's. I think there's. I don't know. This just speaks so much more to me than I remember watching the Callisto Protocol trailer originally and being like, okay, cool. Whereas this is like, yeah, I'll give this a go. 100%.
Do you remember when they sold Callisto Protocol and all the gruesome ways that you could die? Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was a sicko. I watched it.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I
of
did, yeah.
course you did. Oh man, Ben, there's just so many big games out there. AAA, quadruple A. It's so big.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to know something smaller, say the tiniest news I need to know about, where would I look?
You go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we discuss all these small news that you need to know about.
Welcome to the Wii News channel. Alone in the Dark is out today for PC and PS5.
Sorry.
Stardew Valley 1.6 update is out now. And this one makes me really, really happy. Rollerdrome surpassed 1 million players. What a major win.
That's
is awesome.
cool.
What a fun game. Everybody, if you haven't already, join the million of people. It's a really cool experience, and I think you're going to have a great time. How do you feel about this?
It's crazy for him.
You like this?
This is so weird, man. This is so weird. What the hell's going on, man?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the headlines here, and I'm like, what?
Andy Cortez. He is a mastermind. And that's it for the Wii News channel today, everybody. That's it. This has been such a great show. What a fantastic
I feel like
time.
we've cornered him a little bit. Like, we're just looking at you going, react to the weird stuff.
Yeah, do it. Like,
How do you feel?
I feel good, actually. I guess. Do I? I don't know.
Yeah.
oh, man, I love it. Do you have fun?
Yeah, I loved it. This is fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's great. It just feels like, friends hanging out, which is brilliant, and just chatting about. I mean, we do this with cameras not rolling.
Exactly.
So this is what's beautiful about this. So yeah, I had a great time. Really, thank you very much for having me on.
You're very welcome, Abu. You're very welcome.
Okay, Ben. Thanks, Ben. Yes,
You're very
I
welcome.
appreciate it, man.
It's lovely to have you here at the.
It wouldn't have happened if it
it's
was.
so lovely to have you here at the.
No, I appreciate it, man. Again, you are basically. You represent the games industry and the games news, so I am truly thankful for you. In fact, I'm thankful for you for being on Raised by Wolves, House of the Dragon, starting a studio, being an actor, being who I am today.
Yeah.
In fact, being called a boo. In fact, actually being everything that I am right now is because of Ben Starr. Ben Starr is incredible. He is the Superman, superstar. He needs to be in everything and everyone. Did you know that Ben Starr is actually in Spider-Man? He actually plays Spider-Man and also plays Venom and Miles Morales because it's Ben Starr. He also is a beautiful, beautiful human being who is also playing Princess Peach in the new Mario film because look at him. He is gorgeous. Look at those eyes. Those eyes are so gorgeous. Oh, my God.
If you want more Ben Starr, you got to check out Natural 6. Go over the details one more time.
Yes. So it is an actual play D&D campaign, which you can start from the beginning. We'll be airing our first episodes at the beginning of April. We will be announcing when they are available on YouTube, Twitch, all of our socials. Check us out. We are at Natural 6. There we are. There we are, all of our stuff. We haven't really promoted our YouTube channel yet, so we're excited to do it. We've got a great support from loads and loads of people. If you want to see just a lot of mates having fun and being silly and enjoying D&D and learning D&D.
I know the audience here does. They love nothing more than people, best friends hanging out. So everyone go check out the Natural Six YouTube channel, subscribe, get hyped. It's about to be a great time. And Abu, this has been awesome. You were so good on the show. One more time. What should people be excited for?
Oh man, Tales of Kinzera, Zao, it's coming out soon, so soon, and it's going to be on all platforms. You can even pre-order it now. The support is massive. It's great, and yeah, as I said, like it's one of those games which I think a lot of developers have put a lot of themselves in it. We've really, again, as I said at the Game Awards, it's inspired by my own grief. It's funny. Most people now are recognizing me as the guy who cried at the Game Awards, rather than necessarily like the work I've done as an actor, which is great. But like again, it's beauty. It's a passion project. It's the idea is to make an impact and change. So yeah, please go and play and enjoy it and go and show some love.
I wanna like blow some smoke for a second here because I need you to know that I think that your moment on stage at the Game Awards is one of my favorite moments ever, man, and I feel like it was so special. And I think the reason for that is for a new face to get on stage that the games audience might not be familiar with, and to debut a new project and give it context that without knowing anything about it, it all of a sudden means more than anything. I think that was incredibly special. You going up there talking about Kingdom Hearts, you're one of us, man. Like it's just so special. You made the most of your time up there, and it meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it meant even more to many other people out there. So
thank you.
Hell yeah,
I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
But this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we get together to talk about all the nerdy video game news that you need to know live here on YouTube and Twitch. We have a whole bunch of fun stuff going on the rest of the day. If you're watching on Twitch, just keep hanging out. We're going to be streaming some games. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to make the jump over. Gentlemen, this has been an honor. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. Now we need to shake hands. That's what we do.